Hello, from welcome to Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development for today's systems only. The investment we're going to talk today would be Ethereum ETH. This is my second posting of today. Respect to recording time of 2:07 p.m. on Eastern Time. Ethereum currently trading $4,426, down about 3.91% so far. Respect to overall crypto market, besides Solana, which seems like it's still kind of percolating, on the upward trend, testing the all-time high. But overall, I would say the leading coins, predominantly in Bitcoin and Ethereum, are both down close to about 3.5% respectively, while the altcoin are a little bit more prominent, right? Like Dogecoin down about close to 5%, Cardano down about 5% right now, XRP down about 2.5%, polkadot down about close to 3%, while Algorand is down about close to 6%. And with respect to the equity side of the house, right, we've been just kind of a sideways, type of momentum day, I would say. Earlier in the day, I would say, approximately from 9:45 all the way until like 12:45, if you may, we've been experiencing some sort of a buying pressure because of yesterday's application around the FOMC outcome, right? That the quantitative tapering plan is going to be more of a gradual affectation rather than a sudden affectation contingent on the economical outlook, with the job numbers with respect to the COVID variants news. That is still something that is quite an unknown factor that Jerome needs to watch out for. And the last thing for us to do is to scare the market by making some sudden move on the asset purchasing, right? While we try to sustain the shell, or frankly, I would say, even in a more morbid way, a hollow shell of an economy that we have right now, right? Just being pumped and fluffed by, frankly, printing money, if you may. Not the most ideal in terms of a healthy economy, but we need to do what we have to do, right? So it's not going to be a sudden fashion. We need to take it slightly. We cannot just peel off the bandage right away. We need to let the wound, aka the US economy, to slowly heal, and until we can take off that bandage and then allow the scab to just heal by itself, right? So with that affectation, subsequently, allow some buying pressure early during the day, but then we saw a slight dip around like the 12:30 time, because of the bond yield seems to be spiking a little bit. I don't know what happened there specifically, but and that would trigger some sell-off around the equity market, and seems like it's normalizing. So you see that we kind of pumping back up right now. With That's the reason why it's also driving some anti-collision effect onto the crypto market, currently down with respect to Ethereum specifically, down close to about 4% so far, right? So let's dive into the news front. So there's a couple of news, but I would say collectively, nothing really substantive, right? It's just more reminding news on what's been happening so far. So the first one is really reminding news. Talk about 38 minutes ago from Decrypt. Ethereum Game Axie Infinity launches Ronin DEX SLP token, spiked 74%. So it seems like there's more tokens that have a correlations to obviously the value proposition of Ethereum, and this surged 74%. Mainly obviously driven by public investors, hype, and obviously positive, frankly euphoric media affectation on driving this buying pressure. The next one is talk about on Bazinga about 2 hours ago. Talk about this wallet just transferred $1 billion worth of Ethereum. So another big transaction or exchange. Again, we do not have any sources around what this transfer means specifically. We just know that someone has a lot of money and he or she is transferring from one wallet to another wallet. But what does that really tell us? Doesn't really tell us much, right? Because people do this all the time, like switching banks, switching wallets. So it's a good, interesting news. It's trivial, but nothing substantive in terms of driving any changes to the market dynamics, right? And then the next one's on Cointelegraph, and this is a really big news. Again, this is more speculative again. It says Bitcoin will peak 253,000. Ethereum at 22,000 this cycle if 2016 halving bull run repeats. This is they're basically using the historical Fibonacci levels on understanding if we are going to rise at the same comparable momentum and percentage based on the current level that we at right now, technically, if the halving of this bull cycle repeats itself, these are levels that we'll reach to as the next level. So technically, if you think about this, this is about 7 times, higher than the last halving, basically. So I hope they're right? But on a technical front, I'm not sure how that would be logically sound when we are already overbought. And the peak is technically at the 92 out of 70. Unless we run to like 150 out of 70, but I've never seen that before. That doesn't happen because the monetary circulation has to come from somewhere. Unless, one of the markets tank, right? And unless one of the coins tank, then the money would deploy in circulations to these specific coins. But this would require a lot of corporate companies or institutional investors to be buying at large volume and a large quantity at the same time. So I hope this is right. But logically, obviously, we are in the business of risk mitigation. And I think if we actually get there, despite all the odds, right, I think it might make sense to sell around these levels if the bull cycle repeats itself. All right, so the last one is the Fortune magazine 8 hours ago talk about the post-taper rally continues with tech. So this is something that we have seen, with respect to the earlier days, like from basically 9:45 to 12:45 early today, and we're seeing some sort of normalization across the market right now. The market's still green, Nasdaq up about 1%, SPY's up about 0.3% right now. A lot of earnings calls coming out today as well, predominantly on the tech side. So it makes sense why we have this post-taper rally, because again, it's not sudden, it's more gradual, right? So that's pretty much on the news front. So before I dive into the technical, let's go real quick to something I want to show you guys. So my sister recently has a YouTube channel that she's posted up. It's called Send and Cent. So feel free, to subscribe. It helps her out. She has 25 subscribers right now. So if each one of you can support her, her videos are mostly about like her day to day. It's more like a lifestyle blog. In comparisons to me, I'm talking more like a monotone robot. But please support her. I want to be helpful to her success as well. It's difficult to be a YouTuber, and she puts a lot of effort into building her channel. She uses a lot of like nice artistic crafts and designs, and she spends a lot of time editing as well. In comparisons to me is a little bit more execution driven, and mine is a little bit more dry, but hers is a little bit more flavorful. And you get to see maybe my day-to-day life as well, but it's predominantly about her. But hopefully you guys give her a subscribe, hit the bell notification as well. It will be something I really appreciate, and we all can rise together. And my sister is someone that I care a lot about. I want to support her, and hopefully you guys can subscribe and support her as well as I am trying to support her. So really appreciate you, and thank you so much for in advance. I'll link the her channel's link below in the comment section, and also in the information section in the videos. So let's just dive right back into the technicals now. So with respect to Ethereum right now, we're down about 3%. You could see that clearly we are selling off right now because Bitcoin is kind of dragging the whole market to go down right now, right? And we've been peaking like at the all-time high levels, at the 4673. So right now, ideally selling back down to somewhere around like the 4,000 as a first level, because that technically is a flat number, and then sell down to 3845, 3475 if we break this the first level, and then go into the 3150. And I think it's pretty imminent, knowing the fact that we're still overbought. We're forming a curvature downward right now. So as we sell off a little bit more, despite how the turnout of the option expiry is going to come out of 450 million option expiry, but I know some of the people already shifting the contracts outward or whatever, that technically I think tomorrow is just going to be probably like a flat day, if you may, or like a sell day, because Friday or Saturday are typically red days because of the weekend affectation, right? So something to watch out for. We're still overbought at all levels, so we are still in the greed or the overbought level. With respect to Bitcoin, it's a little bit better, right? It's been a drag, right, on a sideways fashion, which is the reason why the RSI is kind of depleting now. We're still at the bearish settlement. We're still dragging down right now. So ideally coming back to the 60, and if we break the 60, the next level will be obviously the 58, and then we have a large leap down to basically to 52, and then the 47, 43, and 40 from here. So Dogecoin right now is very bearish, I would say. We are def crossed right now. So I believe buying at the 23 all the way to 20 cents will be a good dip as we deplete back to the normal level. Cardano right now with the 42 out of 70, we're fusing together. So I think Cardano's not a bad buy right now. We're basically struggling around to see if we can break above 2 or below 2. We're below 2 right now because the overall market is down, so which is the reason why we're down right now. But I think in the risk versus reward ratio, Cardano is the best out of the all three that we talked about so far. And then Solana, we are overbought 73 out of 70, so you know what that means. And with respect to the leap up right now, we're basically in space territory. This is abnormal, not the most friendly and favorable for public investors, especially. The odds are not in your favor right now if you buy it now, knowing the fact that you are basically screaming at a greed level as well. So I would, if you want to buy now, hold, but just have a mental preparation that you might sell back down from here. XRP right now, it's down about 1.58%. We're basically contemplating, do we go up to 120 or go down to 110, or do we go up to 130? And basically right now we are in the levitation level. This is not really a sustainable level. I think ideally coming back down to the 110 would be more logical, 101 if we break that level. Polkadot right now, this is a very abnormal chart. 73 out of 70. We formed this mega golden cross. But I think as we curve down, this is going to be a relatively bloody one, knowing the fact that how drastic it looks right now. So ideally waiting until we come back to 42. At bare minimum, 33 to 25 would be more logical. Algorand down about 5% right now, and I think we're going to see more coming. We're forming a def cross slowly. So ideally buy at the 160 to 152 will be more logical. Shiba Inu is still selling off as expected. We have a mega def cross at the moment. 54 out of 70, so ideally buy at the 2787 to the 900 will be more logical, knowing the fact that we have a large gap that needs to be filled. So, oh yeah, this is my sister's channel. In case, feel free to give her support. I know I'm giving her so many shout outs right now, so apologies for being so annoying. But let's go to the price target. So these are the risk management level to dollar cost average at. These are as we deplete to below 35 on an RSI scale, as we deplete back to the preliminary golden cross level. And that's when you are hearing on the news like, oh my god, everybody's scared that it's a bloody day all over again. Those are the perfect days for you to buy, and these are when you should be incurring good risk, and these are good logical risk level for you to mitigate and manage your profile. Right? Ultimately, investing is a sport of how you risk mitigate, how you risk manage. So hopefully this is helpful, right? And so feel free to take a screenshot of this. I will continue to look out and observe the market and see how we can change the dollar cost average levels accordingly. But right now, I feel pretty comfortable right now. So with that being said, I'm just gonna be sitting on the side holding. And watching as we come back down to an ideal level. Ultimately, Ethereum, I want to get 100. Right now, I still have 55, so I'm still like a long way to go. But I don't want to be incurring risk right now, despite having some cash on reserve. Right? It's doing the right thing. Right? And last thing, please subscribe to my sister's channel on Sen and Cent. I'll link the subscription and her information below on the comments and also on the informational box again. Really appreciate you for dropping by, and stay tuned for some. Take care.